Welcome to Salisbury University On the Air, a program highlighting the activities and the people of the campus. I'm your host, Susan Purnell. The roar of the crowd, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, it all plays out on the field. Athletics are a mainstay in the lives of many college students, and soon, SU's student athletes will have a new facility to call home. Joining us today to discuss construction of the new Seagull Stadium are Dr. Mike Vienna, SU Athletic Director, and Greg Prince, Vice President of Advancement and External Affairs. First is Dr. Vienna. Welcome, Mike.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to see you. So before we talk specifically about the new stadium, tell me just a little bit, give me an overview of athletics at SU.
We have 21 varsity sports for men and women. There's 11 teams for our women and 10 teams for our men. We're a member of the NCAA Division III classification, which is actually the largest classification within the NCAA in terms of members. We're also a member of the Capital Athletic Conference, and we're very fortunate in that we have what is considered one of the top athletics programs in the nation in terms of our competition and how well we do in the field of play. But I'm probably most proud of the academic accomplishments of our student athletes, as our student athletes are truly scholar athletes. So that's kind of an overview of our program.
That's great. I know that your teams have a lot to boast about. Tell me, how many national championships have you won?
We've been very fortunate there as well. We've won 18 team national championships and an additional 16 individual national championships by individual student athletes. And then while those are the national championships, we've come close a few other times too. We've actually accumulated 13 national runner-up awards. So
that's just amazing.
Yeah, we're very, very fortunate.
Little SU, best in the nation,
yes.
18 times.
Yep.
That's
absolutely
great. I hear that the new stadium is going to reflect the caliber of athletics here at SU. How big is it going to be?
Well, you're right, it is going to reflect the caliber of SU. I think it's going to be not only reflect the caliber of our athletics program, but our fine institution. We're very fortunate to have President Dr. Janet Dudley-Eschbach, who has envisioned a campus of national distinction, and that's reflected in many areas, which of course one of those areas is the facilities at the university. So the stadium is going to fall right into that, and so in terms of size, that we are going to be a 4-story structure that will encompass over 30,000 square feet.
Gosh, so will that be taking up the whole space of where it is now and more?
Yes, on that, what would be the west side of the current stadium or turf field, it's going to pretty much take up that whole side. If you go down Wayne Street now, you'll see that there is construction fence up and everything's closed off.
Right. So how does that compare to the size of the current stadium then?
Drastically different. If you take our current stadium and you look at the old press box and the cinder block building that we had out there for storage, and the new press box, as I said, is over 30,000, or excuse me, the new facility will be over 30,000 square feet. The old facility was under 4,000 square feet. So it's going to be dramatically different.
You know, I was driving by there today and I thought, it really does need an improvement. It
yes,
really does.
It's
for the caliber of athletics that we have here, that's for sure. What can we expect on the outside of the building that will be different?
Well, one of the things that we're going to be doing is it will be faced with brick and ground-faced block to more closely resemble the look and architectural features of the university as a whole, mainly what's going on the west side of Route 13, what we call the main campus often. So that'll be one thing how it'll look different. The other thing is we hope to improve what I call the streetscaping or the landscaping to make that part of the street a little bit more attractive. And then to the south side of the stadium, there's going to be a lawn and treed area. It's going to be like a park-like setting that we envision will be a pre- and or post-game gathering spot for our students and fans alike.
Well, that'll be a vast improvement.
Yes, absolutely.
Over what they have right now. There is no landscaping right now, right?
None.
That's true. So take us inside. What will be some new facilities available for the fans?
Okay, once you get inside the facility, there will be a souvenir shop where fans can get all their Seagull gear. We will have a concession area. We're going to have vastly improved public restrooms and improved seating for our spectators in the bleacher area.
And what will the capacity be, seating capacity?
When we couple the new bleachers that we're going to put in with the existing bleachers, we'll be just under 5,000 seating capacity. It's going to be around 48 and some change, 4,800 and some change.
Well, I tell you, they fill it up now, so I think there's a need for that.
Yes, we're real excited
For
about
sure. How about new amenities for the technical staff?
That's going to mostly take place on the 4th floor. Remember I said it was going to be a 4-story facility? It'll be on the 4th floor of the press box. And on that 4th floor, we're going to have coaching booths for both the home and visiting coaches, home and visiting radio booths, so we'll have 2 booths for that. And then there'll be other support areas for our video webcasting and other video productions, our statisticians, clock operator, scoreboard operator, public address announcer, and our sports information staff. So that will encompass that entire 4th floor.
So we're finally coming into the 21st century.
Absolutely. It's going to be really good.
That's great. And finally, what are some of the features of the new stadium that will benefit the athletes themselves?
That's one that we're really excited about is we will have in this new facility locker rooms for our home teams. We'll have a locker room for our visiting teams, locker room for referees. We'll have an equipment room. We're going to have a satellite athletic training clinic that will take care of our sports medicine needs for our student athletes at the outdoor field or at the stadium, as well as a meeting room / classroom. All of those things that I just mentioned, currently the closest that we have any of those on the other side of Route 13 over in Mag's Physical Activity Center. So that's thus the size of the new facility.
Exactly. Oh, it just sounds like all these things are so needed, and I'm thrilled for SU. What makes a Division III school different than other universities in terms of recruiting athletes?
Well, Susan, as you know, we, being a Division III institution, we are not permitted to give athletics scholarships to prospective student athletes or existing student athletes for that matter. And that's the only division in the nation that operates under those guidelines. So we have to look at other things and be able to market and promote many aspects of our university. There are 3 that I say, though, are probably the most important, that carry the greatest weight, although there are many aspects. First and foremost, we want to market and promote having a great academic institution in the university as a whole. And we're very fortunate at Salisbury because as you know, we have an outstanding institution. Secondly, you want to talk about the coaching strength and the entire athletics staff and our athletics tradition. So at Salisbury, again, we've got a great academic institution. We got the first one, we got the second one, which is a great staff and athletics tradition. And then lastly would be the quality of your athletics facilities. And that's where we've been lacking a little bit. So that's one of the reasons we're really excited about the addition of this new stadium, because it's going to fill in that third of those big 3.
You think it really is? Well, I can imagine if a student athlete comes today and sees the facility, they're kind of nonplussed.
Exactly. Many of our prospective student athletes and non-student athletes say, my high school stadium is bigger and nicer than this. So they won't be able to say that anymore.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great addition to campus. Who are the architects involved, and what other projects have they worked on?
The architect of record, the lead architect, is a company out of Baltimore, Maryland by the name of GWWO. But we've also subcontracted to another architectural firm called 360 Architecture, and they are the real specialist, if you will, in stadium constructions. They've worked on many athletic projects throughout the nation. 2 of the bigger ones of note are MetLife Stadium up in New Jersey, where the New York Giants and New York Jets play, and they're also working on the Atlanta Falcons' new stadium.
Gosh, we're lucky to have them.
Yes, and then we're blessed too because the local contractor, Whiting Turner, will be the contractor actually building the facility.
And they've worked on other buildings, I think, the TC building, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure all the ones. I know they did Seagull Square. They've worked on many
They just
facilities.
did the tennis courts, too.
Yes, they did.
Right.
So we've been real pleased
Good job with that.
Partnering with them.
Right. Big question. How much is the stadium going to cost?
Total all in, everything from design fees to permitting, $19 million. It's going to be about 15 in the brick and mortar aspect of it. But I think it is important to note that those funds are not state or taxpayer funds. They are all institutional and private contributions to the facility. That's where
now, when you say institutional, what do you mean by that?
Those would be funds that would have been generated by our students or through any of our auxiliary services, whether it be an athletic fee that we charge our students to, revenues through various auxiliary enterprises on campus.
And big question, final question, when will it open?
I'm saying spring of 2016. We
Next year?
Yep, we commenced construction just the other day, January 15th, and we expect about a 12 to 13 month build. So we're figuring sometime in the spring of 2016.
I know you're excited about this.
We are ecstatic. We are very excited about
You
this.
should be. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you for having me. The pleasure has been mine.
And now, let's take a look at what's happening on the campus in February. My next guest is Greg Prince, Vice President of Advancement and External Affairs. Welcome.
Thank you, Susan.
So glad to see you again.
It's good to see you.
Absolutely. So, Greg, a few minutes ago, Dr. Vienna was telling me that the funding for the Seagull Stadium is not just from institutional dollars, but from private donations as well. Can you tell us who's been giving?
That's right, Susan. Donors who have already stepped up to the plate and to the challenge include Draper Holdings Incorporated, alumni donors and private donors such as Lily Afghami and Michael Kelly. And there are a number of donors who have chosen to remain anonymous, but they've given to the tune of the high five and low six-figure commitments.
Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
It's a winning cause, and we're very excited so far.
That's great. Now, how are these people recognized for their generosity?
Good question. At certain funding levels, donors are able to name different parts of the stadium, whether they want to name it after themselves or to honor or memorialize someone who was important to them or is important to them now. An example of the corporate gift that I just mentioned, our press box and technical facilities at the new stadium will be located inside the Draper Athletics Communications Center, and that'll be on the 4th floor of the stadium, so there'll be great visibility to the field and to the surrounding area.
I tell you, Draper is such a wonderful benefactor in this community, so we're lucky to have them, that's for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. One of the opportunities I've heard about is the Stadium Locker Fund. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, Susan. In fact, for a gift of $1,000, and it doesn't have to be fulfilled all at once, it can be fulfilled over a period of time. Donors not only have the privilege of naming a locker room in one of the 4 locker rooms, we have 2 for lacrosse, 1 for football, and 1 for women's field hockey, but are also enhancing the athletic experience for our student athletes. You know those old school metal lockers that we're all kind of familiar with from junior high and high school? Today's facilities at the collegiate level have moved to open-face wooden lockers, and these sponsorships at $1,000 level will allow us to provide lockers like that for our student athletes.
So you buy a locker and it becomes the Greg Prince locker.
That's right.
Okay, great. What are some of the other naming opportunities that you were referring to?
Well, as our Director of Alumni Relations and Gift Development, Jamie Block likes to say, if it exists in the stadium, we can name it. And so it's an exciting opportunity. This includes individual rooms, such as the athletic training facility and our team meeting room, to the stadium as a whole.
And so let me understand this. If I wanted to name the stadium the Susan Purnell Stadium or the Kuhn-Struhler Stadium, theoretically, I could do that.
Well, it can be more than theoretical, Susan. We can record your gift commitment after the show if you want.
I bet you can.
The stadium naming will be at the top of the 4-story stadium and will be visible from Route 13. So it's a great corporate naming opportunity.
It is. Tons of exposure. That's great.
Definitely.
For how much?
For $1.2 million.
Okay, so for $1.2 million, all of you out there who are really big and supporters of SU athletics, you can name the stadium.
And in fact, we had a recent highway study of Route 13, and we found out that about 10 million cars per year traverse the north-south corridor. And so that's a great opportunity because the stadium will be visible from that route.
You'll see it.
Yeah, that's a lot of eyeballs.
That is a lot
on
of
your
eyeballs.
Corporate brand. So
absolutely. Why do you think it's important to support the athletics at SU?
I'm going to tell you a personal story. You know, I think back to my first exposure to college and college campuses, and it occurred when I attended a football game. Being young and first-generation college student on either side of my family, I didn't really know a lot about college at all. So that exposure, a lot of times athletics can be the public face of a college campus. And so I think it's important for that reason. Also, think about, a nice, if you'll imagine this with me, if you will, a nice 58-degree day in the fall. The sun is shining, it's not too windy, there are no clouds on the horizon. Imagine that you'd have everybody there, from the retirees to the young families with children, and it's a great opportunity to foster a sense of community with our alumni, community members, faculty, and students and staff. So I think it plays many roles.
I agree with you. I think that's great. What are some of the ways that members of our community can support SU's athletic programs?
You may have heard of our Maroon and Gold Club. This was formerly known as our Varsity Club. And this is a great opportunity for again, alumni, parents, community members to support our athletics programs. All gifts, in fact, go directly to that. And there are different levels. They start at $50 a year all the way up to what is referred to as our National Championship Package, which is $2,000 per year. You can read more about that at suseagulls.com/maroon-gold club.
Okay, and for anybody interested in donating to the new stadium,
yes,
where do they go?
Well, in short, I would ask that folks reach out, whether it's email or telephone, to our Assistant Vice President for Development. His name is Jason Curtin, and if it's easier to email as opposed to an initial phone call, just for a basic inquiry, it's J.E. Curtin, C-U-R-T-I-N, at salisbury.edu, and his direct line, I've jotted it down, is 410-543-6176.
Well, that's great. I'm telling you, I think it's going to be a marvelous addition to campus, and I hope you get that $1.2 million naming opportunity really soon.
Thank you, Susan.
Absolutely.
And we do too. I mean, think about 5,000 people on a sunny day in the fall.
A
That
lot
would be
of exposure.
great. Yeah, it would be exciting. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, thanks for being with me today, Greg.
Thank you, Susan.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now here's another look at what's happening on the campus in February. You know, it's exciting when the community comes together to support projects that benefit hardworking individuals like SU's student athletes. Upon its completion, the new stadium should be a point of pride not only for the university, but for the city of Salisbury and surrounding area as well. And now let's take one more look at events on campus in February. I'd like to thank my guests, Dr. Mike Vienna, SU Athletic Director, and Greg Prince, Vice President of Advancement and External Affairs. I'm Susan Purnell, and this has been Salisbury University on the Air. Thank you for watching.